Many spiritual traditions use the idea of a matrix to describe social, psychological, and emotional structures that shape the human experience. In this view, your energy represents attention, emotion, creativity, and awareness. What you focus on, fear, desire, or repeatedly think about, becomes the fuel that keeps these systems running. In addition to negative frequency interference and malevolent entities feeding off of human and animal suffering, the Earth matrix is also composed of a web of habits, beliefs, and conditioned responses that draw power from unconscious participation. Freeing the soul means reclaiming awareness from automatic reactions and inherited beliefs. It involves questioning what you've been taught to fear, what you've been told you are worth, and what you assume you must chase to be whole. Practices like mindfulness, self-reflection, creative expression, compassion, and inner discipline are often described as ways of raising frequency, meaning shifting from a reactive, survival-based state toward clarity, presence, and intentional living. As awareness increases, energy is no longer scattered or drained, but becomes directed and coherent. Ascension is not necessarily about escaping reality, but about seeing through its illusions. It is the movement from unconscious participation to conscious choice, from being driven by fear to acting from understanding. In this sense, leaving the matrix is an inner transformation rather than a physical departure, a gradual awakening to the idea that your energy is most powerful when it's grounded, self-aware, and aligned with your deepest values. Everything one experiences in life is a combination of 5 senses being felt by the human avatar and signals being interpreted by the brain. The mind will then assign meaning and significance to these sensations as good or bad. Humans can only perceive and interpret a narrow band of frequencies, and this range decreases with age. The visible light spectrum is part of the electromagnetic spectrum, which includes all types of electromagnetic radiation. The visible light spectrum is typically defined as the range of wavelengths between 380 and 700 nanometers. The average human auditory range is typically between 20 and 20,000 hertz. The human olfactory system can recognize over 1 trillion distinct smells, but has a difficult time detecting individual odors and is limited to a close range. Olfactory signals are produced in areas of the brain closely linked to emotion and recall. The human sense of taste is even more limited. There are only 5 perceptible basic tastes. Everything one tastes is a combination of sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami in different quantities, detected by specialized taste receptors on the tongue. This human sense of touch is mediated by specialized receptors on the skin, such as mechanoreceptors, thermoreceptors, and nociceptors, which respond to pressure, temperature, and pain respectively. Touch enables someone to experience a wide range of sensations, from the softness of a fabric to the heat of a flame. Nerve sensations associated with touch are also deeply intertwined with how one experiences pain and pleasure. Additionally, the sense of touch is vital for motor control, as it helps manipulate objects, balance, and navigate one's environment. The universe you experience at its most fundamental level is not a static external reality. Rather, it's a projection created from the inside out. This perspective suggests that reality is not something that happens to you, but something that is in part being generated by you. The process begins with your five senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, which act as your primary input channels. Through these senses, the world outside is constantly sending signals to your brain, providing raw data about your environment. This data is not reality as it is, but instead just information that is being interpreted, processed, and rendered into your experience by the mind. This constant influx of sensory data creates a kind of feedback loop. The brain doesn't passively receive data like a camera or recording device. Instead, it actively interprets, filters, and assigns meaning to the incoming sensory signals based on past experiences, beliefs, and expectations. This interpretation happens on both conscious and subconscious levels, with much of it happening beneath the surface of your awareness. For example, when you see an object, your brain doesn't just record an image of the object, it blends sensory data, color, shape, size, texture, with past associations, memories, emotions, and beliefs. This is why two people can look at the exact same object and interpret it completely differently based on their unique histories. Once the brain processes the sensory data, it impresses these interpretations onto the subconscious mind, the deep layer of the psyche that governs much of your automatic behavior, emotions, and worldview. This is where your beliefs, assumptions, and perceptions about reality are stored. The subconscious acts as a kind of internal database, storing both helpful and limiting programs that inform how you navigate the world. Over time, these programs, based on repeating experiences, form a filter through which you see the world. But more often, a particular perception is reinforced. The more solidified it becomes in the subconscious mind, shaping the lens through which you interpret future sensory input. This feedback loop is powerful because once the subconscious mind is programmed with certain beliefs, and perceptions. It begins to influence how you interpret the world around you, and more importantly, what you perceive to be possible. The universe, in a sense, is rendered in your mind in accordance with these deeply ingrained beliefs. This is where the holographic nature of reality comes into play. What you experience as objective reality is actually a projection, a hologram created by your subconscious mind. Your sensory data, filtered through your mind, becomes the pixels that make up the image of the world. This is not a passive mechanical process. It is a dynamic and creative one. The mind doesn't just passively render reality. It actively pushes out this hologram, creating a world that conforms to your beliefs and expectations. If you hold beliefs about scarcity, for example, you will begin to see and attract situations, people, and circumstances that reinforce that scarcity. If you believe the world is a loving and abundant place, your perceptions will align with that, attracting experiences that reflect those qualities. Your internal state that is stored in your subconscious mind becomes the blueprint and architect of the external world you perceive. This is the concept of projection, your inner reality, which is shaped by your thoughts, emotions, and subconscious programs, projects outward to create the physical external world you experience. It is not that the universe outside of you is solid and separate, but that it is a reflective part of your internal world. The universe, in this sense, is a holographic projection created by the mind, with feedback loops between sensory input, subconscious interpretation, and external manifestation. In this framework, if you want to alter your reality or experience a new timeline, you must begin by changing how you process sensory input, thus reprogramming your subconscious mind and transforming the way you interpret these signals from the world around you. A miracle may not happen overnight, but by consciously modifying your beliefs and perceptions, you can change the rendering of your reality, altering the hologram you project, and in turn, the universe and version you experience. Human lives often unfold in spirals rather than straight lines. A spiral can lift upward or pull downward. But once someone is inside it, the momentum feels self-sustaining. Behaviors repeat, emotions reinforce themselves, and outcomes begin to feel inevitable. These are the patterns people often describe as karmic loops, not metaphysical punishment, but the echo of past actions shaping present choices. Negative spirals usually begin with pain. Someone is hurt, neglected, or abused, and the nervous system adapts to survive. That adaptation can later express itself as anger, control, avoidance, or cruelty. Bad behavior breeds bad behavior, not because people are inherently evil, but because unresolved pain looks for an outlet. Those who were abused may grow up to become abusers themselves, reenacting familiar dynamics because they never learned another way to relate. The loop persists until awareness interrupts it. Positive spirals work by the same mechanics, just in the opposite direction. Love received makes love easier to give. Compassion modeled becomes compassion practiced. When people feel safe, seen, and valued, they are more capable of patience, generosity, and self-reflection. Enlightenment, in this sense, is contagious, not as ideology, but as an atmosphere. A single act of understanding can soften deafness, opening a space for growth that feeds back into the environment. Breaking a negative loop is difficult, precisely because it requires acting differently before it feels natural. It asks for accountability without shame and compassion without denial. But once a spiral shifts direction, even slightly, momentum begins to work in favor of healing. Over time, small choices compound, and what once felt like a trap shifts into a new path. The same force that keeps people stuck is the force that can set them free. Repetition guided by awareness, and behavior reshaped by conscious action and effort. In some spiritual frameworks, existence is described as a system of spirals rather than a ladder. Ascension spirals represent expansion, greater awareness, responsibility, and creative coherence. Descension spirals represent contraction, repetition, fragmentation, and unconsciousness. Both are consequences of momentum, action, and alignment. What one feeds with attention, behavior, and belief determines the direction of the spiral. Reincarnation is more akin to reincarceration because repetition without awareness becomes confinement. When the same wounds, fears, and reactive behaviors are carried forward unresolved, the soul re-enters similar conditions again and again. The loop isn't enforced by an external jailer. It is sustained by ignorance and unconscious patterns. The original intent of Source was not endless cycling and suffering, but conscious participation, one where humanity learns through experience in physical form and then transcends limitation through soul integration. Ascension is the key given to those who show self-mastery within the world. As the destructive behaviors of violence, domination, shame, fear, and guilt compound, they move the spiral downward into a lower frequency. Souls became entangled in these dense karmic patterns that narrowed perception and made expansion increasingly difficult. What prevents ascension of human souls is not moral failure, but fragmentation. When awareness is split, when responsibility is avoided, when pain is passed forward, instead of healed, the negative energy system feeds itself. Descent feels easier because it is familiar. Ascension requires stillness, honesty, and the willingness to interrupt inherited patterns. Spirals can change direction at any point. Awareness is the pivot. When a soul recognizes its patterns and chooses coherence over compulsion, the momentum shifts. The matrix is not destroyed, it is outgrown, and ascension is achieved.